Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the practice log. Whoa! It's another night session, so let's go ahead and jump into the madness, shall we? No way, there's 2 beers left. I could have sworn there was only 1. Oh, this is gonna be an awesome night. See, when you go to a bar, this is the glass they give you when it's a 12-ounce pour. They never fill it that high. That's the 12-ounce pour right there. It's always like to there. Yeah, how you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Hanging in there? I've had a pretty good day. I've seen a couple of my students. Today is one of the days where I teach you guys. Those are always the best days. This chair is squeaky. I need to change chairs. But it is time for me to practice my Morel and my other pieces that I'm working on. What are we doing today? Well, we're doing that. I just said that. I have a couple of questions that I would like to answer, so this might be like a speed round question-answer sort of chair session. It's been a while since I answered more than one question at a time. But you know, we'll chill for a second. Yeah, but feeling pretty good. How you feeling? Post in the comments. Alright, we're gonna go through these nice and quick. So, I've been taking this time to answer comment questions. Let's take a look at the comment sections. All of them. So this one is from Kevin. Mail it. How you doing, Kevin? Friend of the channel, of course. Serious question. When you practice, do you use a metronome? I have one. I just don't use it as often as I should. It's very difficult to get into the habit. There are reasons to practice with and without it. I've been doing a lot of no metronome practice recently, but I'm kind of doing a lot of listening to my internal pulse, and that pulse also pulls and pushes with time, rubato and such. Yeah, is it important to do? Like, of course it is. I mean, with, like, exercises, you should probably always use a metronome. It's easy to gauge, like, your improvement with a metronome. I don't use them with exercises right now. I definitely notice, like, when I listen to myself play the fugue, there are places where I push, like, I'm rushing, and I shouldn't be, and I think metronome practice would probably help with that. Like, today, I played the fugue with a metronome, like, really slow one time. It's good to kind of be conscious of that stuff. I don't think you should use it all the time. I think you should try to play without it. Though, if you're learning like a really complicated rhythm, I think it's a good idea to be able to play it to a metronome. I find myself doing this with the adagio, where it is just a bunch of complicated rhythms with like the trills and stuff. I learn it with the metronome, and then I don't use the metronome for a long time, and then going back to the metronome, you kind of have to relearn everything to get it like as tight as it once was. Of course, you don't want that to happen. That's just standard maintenance stuff. You can't focus on everything every single day. I feel like a lot of music, once you get to the really high level, it's a lot of just poking around in the dark, just finding new stuff, and it's a slow grind. I don't think it's a bad idea to go without a metronome for a while. You'll find that deficiencies will come up though. Like, at least that's what I'm finding. And then when they do, you hop back on the metronome, and then deficiencies will develop from that, and then you hop away from it, and so on. So, in conclusion, I don't know. Maybe. I hope that was a good answer. That's actually a question that I need to stew on for a bit and maybe ask some of my friends about. Post what you do with metronomes. Everyone else. Give your opinion. Maybe we'll continue this discussion later. But I think that's about as much as I can answer for that for now. Okay, moving on. Speed round. This one is from Canadian Divergent. How's it going? Friend of the channel. I always wondered if practicing scales are worth it since music is scales. Then all the practice time could have been used for practicing actual pieces or passages. Parkening never practiced scales, to my knowledge. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I do kind of have opinions about that. I think guitar scales can be broken up into several categories. Like, Segovia scales kind of take up their own category. Or just like long scales in general, where they're like these linear scales where there's a lot of ways to climb the mountain that is low E up to the 12th fret E, but you take one path to it, and that's a long scale. And then there's the really thorough, filling in all the gaps, like the 5 scale positions that you can play on the guitar. I think that practicing those 5 positions is most important for like fluency on the fretboard, just so you kind of know where things should go. Even with just that, you don't even need like a thorough understanding of like harmony. If you just kind of remember the patterns, you'll be in pretty good shape, because they're not that hard to remember. So I definitely recommend practicing those. I know the first like 3 years of my guitar playing, I was just like screwing around playing like whatever random rock songs. And then I went through like 2 or 3 years where I only practiced those 5 scale patterns. And I think that that scale practice really helped me with going into classical in the future, because I just had this really solid foundation of scales on the fretboard, and from those scales you can sight read really easily in any position as long as you figure out what key you're in and which position you want to play in, because you just know how the scales work on guitar. So I don't think that's a bad use of time. Now, I did reach a point with those scales where I didn't really get any better at playing them. They didn't ever really become more clear after that like 2 or 3 year mark, and that's when I started kind of expanding my horizons into other things. I think if you want to get as proficient as possible on your instrument, you should practice a lot of scales until you start noticing a plateau, and that's where you can kind of get comfortable. Like, I always have this advice: if you want to get good at anything, figure out how to play scales on it. You want to get good at painting? Find out what scales are in painting. Do that until you plateau. And all other subjects. Yeah, and again, for me, it took like 2 years of practicing them for like an hour a day. My fingers were like as fast as they ever were. I think they're probably slower now. And that certainly did not hurt me doing that. It has only helped me. But I do think that scale foundation is really important. And you should do the same thing with arpeggios too, of course. And like anything you can. Like if you have to pick between scales or arpeggios, even just reaching mastery in one of them, if you just go all in on one for like a year, it'll carry over to everything. It's the idea. I think this is a Bruce Lee quote. I don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That's all I have to say about that. I'm just telling you what has gotten me to this point, and then you can argue like, oh, well, you should be further along than you are, and it's like, all right, whatever. There's a lot of ways to get to where I am, and I don't know if I took the most efficient way. I actually do know. I definitely didn't. I don't think any of us really do, though. Only the very fortunate few who get to start extremely young and have access to crazy teachers. It's never a waste of time to just play your scales for a couple hours. I don't think that's a sin to do that. I think when you're at the pearly gates and you're looking at every day of your life, you'll look back on that one and be like, that was a good day. I don't see anything wrong with that one. Moving on. We'll end it with this one. Alright, this one is from Jay. What's up, Jay? Friend of the channel, of course. Oh, this one's just kind of for my ego. On vacation with the family, my daughter and I watching this episode together. Better than Netflix. And think of the budget this show has, too, compared to Netflix. Thank you, Jay. That's very flattering. She loved the gas station story. That's when I made the bell tower joke, that I'm like some hideous monster who lives in his apartment bell tower. And you said the church bell effect at that time was neat. Oh, and I think you edited it, because I think you figured out how I did it. I think it's like a somewhat common guitar technique. It's in that like Toy Soldier piece that gets played sometimes. But I just folded my 6th string over my 5th string around the 7th fret. And it kind of makes like a bell toll. You can try it at home. And that's it. It is neat. I was excited to get home and make that joke. Alright, well, I think that pretty much covers all the questions. Feel free to post more, anybody watching, and I'll answer them. Maybe if they're little questions, I'll do another, like, fast round again. This is kind of nice to do. And of course, if it's a big question, I'll riff on it for the entire segment. That's usually what I do. Let's go ahead and make our way to the piano bench, and I'll get to practicing. So, I'll see you there. Back to the old greasy grind. I think I'm going to start with Morel movement 2, because I really want to get that down and memorized. I don't think I'm going to play that for you, though. I think I'll try to move on to Julia Florida, because it's been a while since I worked on that one. And Capriccio Arbe, of course. Those 2 pieces, plus the Morel Sonatina, the whole thing, that's what we're doing. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, you know what? Let me bring you closer. I've had a beer. I poured another. I started working on Julia Florida, and then I was like, I ain't doing this. I'm gonna play Morel 3 for you. 3rd movement, and I'm gonna try to make it epic, because I'm getting pretty comfortable with it. Here we go. That's where we're at. That was fun. That was a fun play. One take. Played a couple of accidental sols there when I should have played a do, like at the end. You know, you try to resolve things sometimes, but you just keep adding more tension. You know how it goes. Reflecting on that, can I even reflect on it? I don't know. I think I'm getting to a place with that one where it's like getting pretty comfortable. My nails are also slightly too long. I need to file them. They're like hooking a little bit, but I'm kind of used to the hook right now, so it's not that bad. But I need to file them, and then they won't hook, and I won't be used to it, so it'll be worse. But then like 3 days later, it'll be really good. I'm gonna file them tomorrow though, when I don't have alcohol in my system. That's probably wise. I don't want to ruin my life by accident. Well, I mean, that's pretty much everything. Alright, I'll see you in the outro. Hey, well, you know, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe, and leave a like, and share with your mom and dad. What else we got? Hey, want some guitar lessons? I just got done teaching guitar lessons, and now I'm doing this, and now I am letting you know that you can also have guitar lessons. Yep, all you gotta do is email me. I'll respond. Just send me an email. What else we got? Comment questions? Oh, we did everything today. Lessons, comment questions. So, you know, feel free to leave more if you want. New people, feel free to leave some questions that you want answered. And of course, if you disagree with anything I said, feel free to leave a comment and we can continue this discussion. That's fine. What else? I think that's pretty much everything. You know, thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing alright. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. Hope you're okay. Are you doing alright? Hang in there. Alright. I'll see you tomorrow.